All right. So have you ever thought about betting in Senegal?
Interesting question.
Yeah, you might be surprised
Okay.
by how big it actually is. We're diving into some articles about the top betting sites over there, and let me tell you, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, the African betting market is getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
It's interesting how much we're talking serious growth,
Wow.
projected to reach almost $7 billion
Okay.
by 2030.
Yeah.
And Senegal is right in the middle of it all.
So how big is this market?
It's huge.
Do we have any numbers?
Yeah, the articles mention a specific number, and it's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Think about this. In a country of about 17 million people, over 3.5 million are actively involved in gambling.
Wow, that's a significant chunk of the population.
Yeah.
That's way more than I would have guessed.
It really highlights how important betting is in Senegal.
I guess it's part of the culture, though.
Yes, definitely.
Now, we all know that football is king pretty much everywhere.
Oh, for sure.
But what else are people in Senegal betting on?
Right, you're right. Football's definitely at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Especially with Senegal's national team, the Lions of Teranga.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just about football.
Okay.
Basketball, volleyball, and even boxing have dedicated followings.
Wow.
And they all draw a lot of betting action.
So we've got a pretty diverse range of sports
Yes.
attracting bettors.
Definitely.
But where are they actually placing these bets?
Good question.
The articles highlight some big names in the Senegalese market,
Right.
like 1xBet and Melbet.
Yes, those are two of the biggest ones.
What sets these sites apart?
Well, 1xBet is known for its incredibly wide selection of betting options.
Okay.
You can find practically any sport on there.
Wow. So anything you could think of.
Almost. From major leagues to more niche competitions.
Got it.
And they also have a very user-friendly app,
Okay.
which is crucial in a mobile-first market like Senegal.
Makes sense.
Melbet, on the other hand, attracts a lot of users with its generous bonuses and promotions.
Okay, so they're really playing to the desires of the modern bettor.
Exactly, they are.
Speaking of modern,
Yes.
the articles really emphasize mobile betting in Senegal.
Yeah.
It seems like placing bets on your phone is the way to go these days.
It definitely is.
What's driving this trend?
Well, it's all about accessibility and convenience.
Right.
Mobile penetration is incredibly high in Africa, and for many people, their smartphone is their primary means of accessing the internet.
I see.
So this makes mobile betting apps a natural fit for the Senegalese market.
So it's all about integrating betting into daily life.
Exactly.
That makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
you're waiting for a taxi, you pull out your phone, you place a bet,
Yes.
and suddenly you're even more invested in that upcoming match.
Exactly.
But with all this betting activity,
Yes.
what about the legal side of things?
Yeah, that's important.
Are there any rules and regulations in place?
Oh, yes. Senegal actually has a very structured approach to online betting.
Oh.
It's completely legal
Wow.
and regulated by the Gaming Control Commission.
So there is some government oversight?
Oh, yes. They issue licenses, they monitor operators, and they make sure everything's operating within the law.
Okay, so they're trying to strike a balance between allowing the industry to grow
Exactly.
while keeping things fair and safe.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what kind of measures are in place to promote responsible gambling?
That's a key aspect they're focusing on.
Okay.
Many betting sites offer features like self-exclusion options,
Yep.
where you can temporarily or permanently block yourself from accessing the platform.
Got it.
And then there are deposit limits where you can set a cap on how much you're able to deposit into your account.
So it's all about promoting healthy betting habits and protecting vulnerable players.
Exactly.
That's great to hear.
It is.
It sounds like they're really trying to create a responsible and sustainable betting environment.
I think so.
But what about the future? Yeah. What are some of the trends that could reshape the betting landscape in Senegal?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Blockchain technology and cryptocurrency are starting to make waves in the global betting industry,
Okay.
and Senegal is no exception.
Hold on, crypto betting in Senegal.
Yes, it's coming.
That's something I'd love to learn more about.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
What are the potential benefits and challenges?
Well, imagine faster transactions, increased transparency, and potentially even lower fees.
Wow.
It could be a game changer for the industry.
Okay.
But of course, it would also require a whole new level of regulation and oversight.
Right, of course.
The Gaming Control Commission would have a lot to consider as these technologies become more prevalent.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this all connects.
Yeah.
We've got this rapidly growing betting scene in Senegal, fueled by mobile accessibility and a diverse range of sports.
Right.
They've got a regulatory framework in place.
Yeah.
But they're also facing new challenges with the emergence of technologies like blockchain.
It's a lot to keep track of.
What's fascinating to me is how these factors all intertwine.
Absolutely. And that's just the beginning.
Oh, really?
We haven't even dived into the specific features and offerings of these betting sites or explored the cultural nuances that shape Senegal's betting landscape.
So there's a lot more to unpack here.
Definitely.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Senegal's betting scene.
Thanks for having me back.
We've established it's a pretty significant market,
Yeah.
deeply embedded in the culture
Yeah.
and rapidly evolving.
Yeah.
So let's zoom in on those online sports books
Okay.
and unpack what makes them tick.
Sounds good to me. We touched on some big players like 1xBet and Melbit.
Right.
But from a user's perspective,
Yes.
what should a Senegalese bettor actually be looking for when choosing a platform?
Good question. Think of it like entering a shop for the first time.
Okay.
First impressions matter. A website or app needs to be inviting.
Easy to navigate, especially for someone who might be new to online betting.
That makes sense. You don't want to be bombarded with information overload right off the bat.
Exactly.
A clear layout and intuitive design are key.
For sure. And a good search function is also crucial.
Right.
Especially when you have such a diverse range of sports and betting options available.
Speaking of which, the variety offered is a huge factor for a lot of bettors.
It is.
We know football's a given,
Yes, of course.
but how deep do these platforms go?
Pretty deep.
What about fans of other sports?
They're covered, too.
Yeah.
Football coverage is extensive, from local leagues to international tournaments.
Yeah.
But the best platforms go beyond that.
Okay.
They cater to fans of basketball, tennis volleyball, even esports.
Wow.
The wider the selection, the better.
So variety is key.
Definitely.
But what about the actual types of bets you can place?
Yeah.
We briefly touched on simple bets like predicting the winner.
Right.
But what else is out there?
There's a whole world of betting types,
Oh, really?
each with its own level of complexity and strategy.
Okay, like what?
Well, you have handicaps, over, under, even Asian handicaps, which are a bit more nuanced,
Okay.
but can offer interesting opportunities.
Now, Asian handicaps, that sounds intriguing.
Yeah, it's a popular one.
Would you mind shedding some light on those for our listeners who might not be familiar?
Sure. Essentially, Asian handicaps are a way to level the playing field
Okay,
between two teams of different strengths.
got it.
So instead of simply betting on a win or a loss, you're betting on the outcome after a handicap is applied, either positive or negative,
Okay,
to one of the teams.
I see.
It can make for more balanced odds
Yeah.
and potentially higher payouts.
So it adds another layer of strategy
Yes, yeah.
to the betting process.
Yes.
But even with all these different bet types, ultimately it comes down to the odds.
The odds are key.
How can a bettor tell if a platform is offering competitive odds?
That's where a bit of comparison shopping comes in handy.
Okay,
Check the odds for the same event across different platforms.
got it. Yeah.
Even slight variations can impact your potential winnings over time.
So if you're betting on, say, a Senegal versus Egypt football match,
Yes.
see what odds 1xBet is offering compared to Melbit, for example.
Exactly. Don't just settle for the first odds you see.
Right.
Take a few minutes to shop around and see who's offering the best value for your bet.
Solid advice. Now let's talk about those tempting bonuses we hear so much about.
Oh, the bonuses.
What's the deal with those?
Bonuses are a big part of the online betting world.
Okay.
They're essentially incentives used by platforms to attract new customers
Yeah.
and reward loyal players.
Makes sense.
Welcome bonuses are very common,
Okay.
often matching a percentage of your initial deposit.
So say I deposit 10,000 CFA francs
Okay.
and the platform offers a 100% match bonus. Does that mean I suddenly have 20,000 CFA francs to play with?
That's the basic idea.
Wow.
It gives you a boosted bankroll to get started. However, it's crucial to read those terms and conditions carefully.
Oh, okay.
There are usually wagering requirements, stipulating how many times you need to wager the bonus amount before you can withdraw any winnings.
Right. It's not just free money.
No, it's not.
You need to understand the rules of the game before you jump in.
Exactly.
What other kinds of bonuses might you encounter?
Well, you might find free bets,
Uh-huh.
reload bonuses, cashback offers, even loyalty programs.
Sounds like there's something for everyone.
There is.
But I guess the key takeaway is that bonuses shouldn't be the only factor
No, they shouldn't.
when choosing a platform.
Exactly. Don't get blinded by flashy offers.
Right.
Focus on the platform's overall reputation,
Okay.
security, and the factors we've already discussed.
So we've covered user experience,
Right.
betting options,
Yes.
odds and bonuses.
Yeah.
What else should a Senegalese better prioritize when choosing a platform?
Well, security should be non-negotiable.
Okay.
You're entrusting these platforms with your personal and financial information.
That's a good point.
Look for sites that use SSL encryption,
Okay.
which you can usually tell by that little padlock icon.
The padlock of trust.
Exactly.
What else should we be looking out for?
Licensing is crucial.
Okay.
Reputable platforms will clearly display their licensing credentials, showing they operate legally
Right.
under regulatory bodies like Senegal's Gaming Control Commission.
So security and licensing are must-haves.
They are.
But what about the human element?
Yeah.
What kind of customer support should bettors expect?
Good customer support can be a lifesaver,
Yeah.
especially for someone new to online betting. Look for platforms offering multiple channels like live chat, email, and even phone support.
And responsiveness is key, right?
It is.
You don't want to be left hanging with a burning question.
Exactly. A platform should be responsive
Right.
and readily available to assist with any issues or queries.
Okay, let's zoom in on a trend we touched upon earlier, mobile betting.
Yeah, mobile betting is huge.
We know it's huge in Senegal.
Right.
But what's driving this surge in popularity?
Well, mobile penetration is incredibly high across Africa.
Right.
And Senegal is no exception. For many, their smartphone is their primary, sometimes only way to access the internet.
So it's really important.
It is, and platforms have recognized this
Okay.
and have invested heavily in mobile-friendly platforms,
Yeah.
especially dedicated apps.
Right. It's not just about a website that's viewable on a phone.
No, it's not.
We're talking about a specifically designed app experience.
Correct.
What are the advantages there?
Well, convenience is the biggest one.
Okay.
You can place bets anytime, anywhere,
Right.
as long as you have a connection.
Yeah.
Imagine placing a bet on your favorite team
Uh-huh.
while riding a bus through Dakar.
Yeah.
It's about integrating betting into the flow of daily life.
Now, I know some people might be hesitant
Yeah.
about using apps for something like betting.
Right.
What about security concerns?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
However, reputable apps utilize top-notch security measures
Right.
like encryption and two-factor authentication to protect your data.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, using a dedicated app can often be more secure
Oh,
than accessing a website through a mobile browser,
okay.
especially on public Wi-Fi.
So you're saying that in some ways the app can be even more secure.
Exactly.
Wow.
Plus, many apps offer features specifically for mobile users,
Okay.
like fingerprint or Face ID login, adding an extra layer of protection.
That's good to know. Now, aside from security,
Yeah.
what other features make betting apps so appealing?
Well, many offer push notifications,
Okay.
alerting you to live scores, special promotions, or reminding you about upcoming matches.
So they're really helpful.
Yes, it's like having a personal betting assistant right in your pocket.
Okay, so convenience,
Right.
security, personalized features.
Yeah,
It's all starting to make sense why mobile betting is taking off.
it is a game changer.
And that's just the beginning.
Exactly.
As technology advances, we can expect even more innovative features in the mobile betting space.
Definitely.
Well, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
It is.
But let's shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about something crucial for any type of betting,
Yes.
online or mobile payment methods.
Yeah, that's important.
What should Senegalese bettors look for when it comes to depositing and withdrawing funds?
That's a great question. Welcome back to our deep dive into Senegal's betting scene.
Glad to be back.
We've explored the popular platforms, dissected their features,
Right.
and even talked about the rise of mobile betting.
Yeah.
But now, let's zoom out
Okay.
and consider the bigger picture.
Yeah.
How is this industry impacting Senegalese society as a whole?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in the mechanics of betting,
Right.
but there are these broader implications to consider.
Exactly.
We're talking about economic effects, social shifts,
Yeah.
even potential cultural changes.
It's a lot to unpack.
Where do we even begin?
Well, let's start with the economic side of things.
Okay.
There's no denying that the betting industry has brought a significant influx of money into the Senegalese economy.
So we're talking about job creation, tax revenue, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Betting companies need people.
Yeah.
They need developers, marketers, customer support staff, odds compilers.
So there are a lot of jobs being created.
There are, and it creates employment opportunities, particularly for young people who are tech-savvy and looking to join a growing industry.
And it's not just direct employment, right?
No, it's not.
There's a ripple effect throughout other sectors of the economy as well.
Absolutely. Think about the increased spending in related areas, like bars and restaurants, where people gather to watch matches and place bets, for example.
So this betting boom stimulates economic activity.
It does.
Across various industries.
Exactly. And, of course, the government benefits from the tax revenue generated.
Which can then be used to fund public services and infrastructure projects.
Right.
Okay, so there's a definite economic upside.
Yes, there is.
But I imagine there are concerns as well.
Of course.
What are some of the potential downsides of this rapid growth?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is the potential for problem gambling. When betting becomes easily accessible, especially through those convenient mobile platforms, it's tempting for some individuals to overspend or chase losses, leading to financial issues and even addiction.
That's a serious issue.
It is.
That can't be ignored.
No, it can't.
What steps are being taken to address that risk?
Well, as we discussed earlier, responsible gambling practices are essential. Reputable platforms are implementing measures like deposit limits, loss limits, and self-exclusion options.
So these give users more control over their betting activity.
Exactly. And it's not just the platforms themselves. The government has a role to play as well.
Absolutely. Regulation is key.
It is.
Stricter age verification processes are needed.
Yes, definitely.
To prevent underage gambling. And there need to be clear guidelines around advertising and marketing to ensure it's not misleading or targeting vulnerable individuals.
That's a very important point.
It's about finding that balance, allowing the industry to flourish while protecting individuals and fostering responsible practices.
I agree, and it's not just about regulations and safeguards. Education and awareness campaigns are crucial as well.
So you're talking about equipping people with the knowledge and resources
to
make informed choices about their betting habits.
Precisely. It's about promoting a culture of responsible gambling, where it's seen as a form of entertainment, not a get-rich-quick scheme or a solution to financial problems.
Okay, so we've covered the economic impact and the importance of responsible gambling.
Yes.
But what about the cultural implications? How is this industry shaping the way Senegalese people view sports and entertainment?
That's an interesting question. On the one hand, betting can add another layer of excitement and engagement to sporting events. When you have something, even a small wager, riding on the outcome, it can make the match even more thrilling.
I can see that. And it probably sparks more conversations and debates.
Oh, it does.
Among friends and family.
For sure, betting can become a social activity. A way to connect with others who share a passion for sports.
But there's also a potential downside, right?
Yes, of course.
Some people might worry that this focus on betting could overshadow the pure enjoyment of the sport itself.
That's a valid concern. It's all about finding that balance. Enjoying the thrill of the bet.
Without losing sight of the love for the game.
And then there's the risk of match fixing and corruption.
Yes.
If betting activities aren't properly regulated and monitored.
Right. That would be a huge blow to the integrity of sports.
It would.
Transparency and accountability are absolutely crucial in this industry.
Yeah.
Both operators and regulators need to work together to ensure fair play and prevent any unethical behavior.
So it's a complex landscape.
It is.
With both positive and negative aspects to consider.
Exactly. The betting industry in Senegal is still relatively young. And its long-term impact on society is still unfolding.
But it's clear this industry is here to stay.
I think so.
And it's going to continue to influence the way Senegalese people engage with sports and entertainment.
I agree.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
We've explored so many facets of the Senegalese betting scene, from user experience on specific platforms to the broader societal and cultural implications.
It's fascinating.
What are your key takeaways for our listeners? For me, the main takeaway is that the betting industry in Senegal is a dynamic force. With immense potential. But it needs to be approached with both enthusiasm and a healthy dose of caution. Embrace the excitement. Explore the opportunities. But always prioritize responsible gambling.
Right.
And be aware of the risks.
Excellent advice. And remember, knowledge is power.
It is.
The more you understand about this industry, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions about your betting behavior.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Senegalese betting.
My pleasure.
Until next time, bet responsibly and enjoy the game.